That was my home church, and I go over to visit my mom and dad one time, and we went to Sunday school down there, and Burl Stafford, Josh, you remember Burl Stafford, don't you, through the mailman through here? Burl's going to church there, and I didn't know at the time that the pastor had resigned and was gone. And so Burl said to me, he said, had you ever thought about maybe coming back home to your home church? Well, I never had right then. That's when I said, I'll pray about it. You know, God led us back here, and that was in 1960, that's 48 years ago. Who would have thought, you know, just one question, you know, you ever thought about coming back home? Well, that's the way God leads you, isn't it? Now through the years, I've seen so much of that. But, you know, I want to think not about who God really is. You know, incidentally, the singing is good. I appreciate it so much. I just kind of waited for Josh to come sing. He didn't make it, though, did he? I like to pick on him. You know, my granddaughter kind of picks on me like that. And she says, I pick on people I love. So okay. But, you know, we're living in a very bad society, aren't we? You pick up the daily news, and almost every day there's something there about crime, somebody been arrested, or anywhere you go, you find that. God's being left out more and more. Even within our government, you know, there are more laws being passed. You know, they're anti-God. So when I think about this, I think we live in a society where before, you know, down through the years, there never has been a time when everybody in our nation has been a Christian. But, you know, down through the years, our nation has been generally a God-fearing nation, you know. We've honored God pretty much, and we're kind of getting away from that now. And more and more we see, it seems like people kind of over on one side and then God over on the other. But, you know, when you think about God, this verse I want to read in Psalm 77, verse 13, it says, Thy will, God, is in the sanctuary, and who is so great a God as our God? Who is so great a God as our God? You know, literally, we know there are many people that worship various things. We're talking missionaries. You know, if you go across the ocean, they have certain religions there, and they bow down to images. They worship in some places the sun, moon, and stars. And we know, you know, these things can't help a bit. There's one place in the Bible where God's speaking about the idols that people worship. And He made a statement there. He said, if they, for example, here's an idol. He said, if that falls over, it can't get back up again. He said, you may have ears on you, know, eyes, but said, can't hear anything, can't see anything. You know, that's not much for God. That's not. I wouldn't want to pray something like that with you. You know, I like a God that can see my need, and I like God that can hear me when I pray. And I like God that if we fall over, God can lift us back up again. So, who is so great a God as our God? You know, God's answered our problems today. We think about the jail. We think about the crime in our society. The drug trafficking, think about how much out of control that is. You know, God's answered all of that if people would just let Him. You know, and God makes it very clear that He wants everybody to be saved. He said, come unto me, all you labor and heavy laden, I'll give you rest. In one place He said, Lord, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hear my voice, open the door. I will come in and sup with him, he with me. God wants to come in, and part of the mess we're in today is we've not let God have His way. Now, I want to go to the Bible and just look at a few instances where God proved who He really is. You know, someone said to me some time back, why isn't God doing things in a different way? You know, God's still speaking to people. You know, God's still working people's hearts, and yet more and more they turn Him aside. Now, God, as somebody said, you know, God's not going to make anybody go to heaven against their will. Now, Christ died on the cross. He died for everybody. You know, the interesting thing is, and Christ, of course, He realized that not everybody would be saved, but He died for everybody. So, you know, whether it's here, down in my church, or anywhere around the world, if somebody gets on their knees and they ask God to come into their heart and save them, you know, God will do that. Because He loves them. And yet, people must let Him do that. Now, I want to mention a few instances in the Bible where we read about God's greatness. First of all, when the Israelites were down in the land of Egypt, back in the book of Exodus, they were slaves down there. You know, we've never been in a society where we were slaves to anybody, but now they were. And literally, they do what they were told to do. You know, Pharaoh was the king, and then he had his army and so on. And we're told that at that time, the Egyptian Empire was one of the biggest maybe the biggest in the world at that time. Very powerful.